As you can see, we're heading to the beautiful villa here in the Italian countryside, where we'll get to see our team of Special Forces operatives fight it out over up to 12 rounds of regulation and 3 rounds of overtime. Maverick will be the first operator knocked out by EG as an attacker.
Honestly, not too big of a surprise. He has a lot of presence upstairs inside of Master when you're trying to take Trophy as well as Statuary. And Glass going to be the second ban, which everyone, he's pretty self-explanatory.
Especially for this map as well. Pretty quick on the first defender ban from LeStream, as they also get the second attacking pick, but the first defender pick. Valkyrie going to get knocked out again. We've seen the recent increase in power that Valkyrie has had due to the extra length that she can throw those cameras, and we've seen some pretty crazy cameras, especially at USN, come out of that. So no surprise on seeing her get knocked out. And then Echo will be the final, more predictable ban here.
Yeah, they lessened it just a little bit. They're like, okay, we're gonna take the Tom Brady aspect away from her, take away a little bit of energy inside of her arm, but it still does have a decent distance that you can get on those cameras. But last one being Echo, and again, very prominent operator on the defense. He has a lot of plant denial as well as a lot of information gathering that he can do with those yokai drones, especially since they're invisible. And
so for EG, they will start out on the defense, which means they get the first site pick, obviously, and they're going to go the pretty normal route here. Generally, again, for those of you that might be newer to Rainbow Six Siege, obviously, as you know, you pick the sites, and most teams this map will start on this one. Aviator and Games Room, very easy site to lock down for the most part. There's really only 1 or 2 options for attackers to take when they're pushing it, so it's a very easy site to control. After this, we will more than likely see teams shift over to the site that's called the Statuary Room / Trophy Room. We'll talk about that in a little bit.
Yeah, Villa, kind of an unexplored map compared to the others. There's a lot of things that the pros have figured out on this map, different ways that things have been handled ever since it came into the map pool, but more or less these are still the most prominent sites, which is just the entire upstairs.
Yeah, and this is the newest map to the competitive pool. It was added with Maestro and Alibi, which happened in the middle of last year, I think around June sometime?
Yeah, somewhere around there. It was Operation Parabellum.
Yeah, so the newest map to be added into the competitive pool. It's only seen about 7 or 8 months of play so far, but in recent months, especially the last 2 to 3 weeks of Pro League that we've ended up seeing, it's become quite a favorite, and we've been seeing it more and more, I think.
Yeah, it's a map you can get pretty creative with, which is really good, because we have a lot of very regimented maps here. We have Concept, we have Oregon, Clubhouse, all these maps where you can't get super crazy strats going. And Villa is something that's still, a newfound land, where they're trying to find different ways to handle sites and some other things along those lines. But as we will be jumping into action phase here, once again, we will have EG on defense, Orange team respectively, and LeStream on the offense. And they are rocking that Dokkaebi. We haven't seen too much of that yet today.
No, we have not, but that might be changing with LeStream. If you watch their Pro League matches, they're definitely a favorite of bringing Dokkaebi to the table, so it's not too much of a surprise that we see that right off the bat, and it's likely that we'd see that continue, so definitely pay attention to that, as if they don't bring it, that might indicate a bit of a change up to their play style, if not an uneasiness that they're feeling, which makes them shift away to what they normally expect. It's Alfama to start things off, however, for LeStream, finding an early kill on the Canadian. I imagine it was peeked out just a little bit too far into the study here, and as such, meets an early end.
I don't even really know where his body is. I actually don't see
he's not in study. Maybe it was the hallway. Where's he at?
Canadian is a ghost. His entire body just disappeared.
Yeah.
Just went to a higher plane of existence.
Just fell into the void.
Yep. Just in limbo now. But besides the point, early pick and Canadian going to be the first one to fall, which is not looking too good. You're going to need a little bit more pressure out on this 90 hallway. They do have Maestro playing out here, being played by NVK. As NVK is going to take the aggressive peek, and he's going to win that one under Ice. Another one going to get taken out. Alfama going to get taken out, and a team kill comes out as Senpai Gio. Gio himself will get taken out by NVK. I had to say the full name.
Yeah.
I had to.
Oh, no, no, please do. It's their fault.
It's
not
their
our
fault.
So we are going to see one more player of LeStream playing into the top side of the window. I believe that's nobody's going to get popped by NVK. Worried about his performance in the past, but so far he's got a good start with 2 clean kills on the Maestro. Bring us into a 2v3. Still favoring EG, but of course with NVK as low as he is a bit of a danger now if he ends up getting engaged another time, and that's why he has fallen back into the site now.
You've done all the work that you can, young prince. It's okay. You can lay back for a little bit. NVK coming up massive there in the 90 hallway, but still have 2 people on site, Necrox and Young respectively on Legion and Smoke, and that's plenty of utility to try and deny this offensive take by Hicks as well as Aces. Habana and Dokkaebi still have 1 call, as you guys can hear it ringing on the other end of the map. Toxic Babes are going to fly out from Necrox, though. Prevents this side. The east side, anything. Tiggs will rotate over towards the 90 hallway, but not too much found by the offense so far as they just continuously run back and forth in between sites. They have to try and get an entry here. They will throw down a smoke grenade, but it's not going to block much of the vault. Will block the other end though, as an aggressive play comes out by Aces, but Necrox will halt that in its tracks, and yet again, Necrox with the M590 this time though. We'll find Hicks, and that'll be the first round for EG.
That's the quick switch over to the M590s we're going to see right here. Pops a second kill off for himself as well. LeStream, unfortunately, just committing a little bit too much to the 90 hallway and paying the price for it, losing 2, if not 3 players in the mid-round, and unfortunately stunting any capability they would have had, even with the study wall being breached, to actually get into the site and find a plan. And as such, Evil Geniuses take the first round, and then I'll move, as I was talking about before, over to that trophy and statuary room, which is the standard second site that pretty much every team goes to.
I'm still very interested in where Canadian died. I have no idea.
I only said study because the door was already open, so I thought he maybe like peeked it and it got popped or something like that. Or maybe he was by the door that leads into the site on the right side of that room. Maybe, I don't know.
Well, it does seem that Canadian has been promoted to Doc, so apparently your play right there doesn't really affect if you get the Doc ACOG or not. But he is going to grab the Doc ACOG. Apparently he's like, you know what? Jaeger's not for me today. We're going to give it to NVK. He's fragging out. I need an ACOG. Let's party.
And he will throw down the bulletproof cam to start off the round for himself. Overall, though, as you can see, not a lot coming out onto the board for the members of LeStream besides Alfama's early pick, which was a good one. The problem is they overcommitted into 90 hallway afterwards and lost too many players.
Yeah, the main thing for EG this season has been their ability to flex operators, and you guys are seeing that right now. Look at how many different ops have been chosen by different players here. A complete switch over. MVK was on Maestro. Now, Geo's, I almost said Senpai Geo again. Geo's playing him. Canadian was on Jaeger. Now MVK's playing him. They're shifting so much. The only one that's really stuck on the same op is Necrox on Smoke, and that's a required op for most of these sites. So a lot of flexing coming out from EG right now. Not an odd flex, but a good one.
Maybe weird flex. Preferred verbiage there. But we do have LeStream moving up, I believe over here towards the bedroom windows, now looking to get themselves to the inside. Start their push towards the statuary room. This is one of the main routes we often see teams taking. Rise going to find himself in a fight, maybe a little bit earlier than he was expecting. Certainly loses HP from it. He's going to end up going down to about 25. The damage done to Canadian won't matter because it's Doc, and he'll just heal himself right back up.
Rise using the worst DMR in the game stats-wise, the cameras on Buck, which I'm actually really surprised about. You don't see too much of this getting played just due to the fact that the damage margin for a DMR is just very low for that gun. Since it is single fire, you have to repeatedly click that mouse, which isn't that big of a deal, but it is when you compare it to like Blackbeard's DMR that does like 60 damage. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But, you know.
Comparatively, just might have been having problems with the recoil or wasn't really feeling confident. Hold on.
I'm trying to reset him right now.
I think. Just
gonna have to get some other utility over there.
There we go. They got it.
They do. If I
Why didn't they just do that to start with?
I don't know. If
they had 2 minutes.
If I remember correctly, every flash grenade does 3 damage. Just 3 damage to something.
Oh, okay.
So he's probably like, "Hey, reset me real quick."
I bet he had 4.
Yeah. Feels bad, man.
So they take the easier option there and just toss him off the roof to reset him. Which, by the way, again, for the newer folks out there, when you're rezzed, if you haven't noticed already, you get brought back up to 50 HP. So if you're under 50 HP and you are not like pressured in any sort of situation, the attackers will have the capability to kind of fall back into a safe spot and then take down one of their own teammates to res them up again and get the extra 50 HP back.
Yeah, LeStream's in a little bit of hot water here. They do get the main wall of statuary open on the bottom, but they would have to crawl through to try and get any main presence inside of that room. They do have control of astronomy now, but the defense is still hard stuck over here inside of the trophy room, as we are going to see a nade fly in. It's going to pick up Necrox. That's going to be the end to any Toxic Babes. Evil Eye posted up on the top of the stairs as well, as things will begin to pop off. Uno starts ricocheting rounds into the trophy room. Geo gonna lay on a prone angle or just wait for something to try and peek. That stun grenade gonna do him not much justice, as he actually will get picked up by Uno. The plant is going down by Rise, and Alfama's gonna pick up one as well. NVK and Young all left alone. That Nitro Cell not going to find any contact. Not much health lies with the rest of the ops except for Aces, but 5 guns versus 2, you're gonna have a bad time. Uno gonna find one, and Hicks gonna clean it up to find the first offensive round by LeStream.
Incredibly clean one as well. I don't think a single player from LeStream ended up going down over the course of that round, so very well played by them. For EG, just constantly being knocked out one by one. Weren't even really able to contest bedroom that heavily. They were able to hold it off for a few seconds with the dock, but after that, we saw LeStream just walk right into bathroom, clear out astronomy with no trouble whatsoever, and then obviously getting to the site wasn't much of a problem after those two were under their control.
Yeah, not much impact tricking coming out. They had it set up inside of the statuary to impact trick, but they really couldn't. And the main issue was that they used all of the Habanas on the very bottom of the wall. And that's the way to counteract that. You get that open to where they really can't have any movement inside of there since you have those angles underneath the floor, but they did do a straight line. So they would have to crawl through it, but it alleviated a lot of pressure inside of statuary. The only safe play to play inside of that room after that was actually over here in the corner. If we could just rotate over there, please, just for 1 second. It's actually over in the statue to your guys' right side of the screen. The little man standing with the horse, if I remember exactly what it looks like.
It's right there on the right side of the
Yeah.
screen. I think, does he have a horse?
Is it a horse?
I think it's a woman, first of all. No, other room.
Other room. Now flip.
Flip? That, yeah, the one in the corner.
That one. Oh yeah, it's a woman and a child. It's two, yeah, it's a girl and a mom. Something. Yeah.
Something like that. It's very Italian.
We're terrible at art.
10 seconds remaining.
Or Americans.
Yeah, filthy Americans, man. Dang it. Just not good at art.
So, with the players from LeStream getting yet another shot to take control of the statue room, Evil Geniuses have decided, of course, as you've seen by this point, to go back to that site. Quick reminder once again, if you're on defense and you win a site, you can't go back to it immediately. You have to wait 2 rounds. But if you lose it, you can reattempt the same site again, as we're seeing now.
Yeah, the salty rum back coming out, as I love to call it. Just doubling up on what they were doing, or doubling down at least.
Normally you'd only see a team attempt to redo a site like 1, maybe 2 times, and after that, that's when it starts to drift into the realm of madness.
Anything over playing 2 times in the same site is just a little bit too much. Just because even after that point, you still have other things to rotate to. You still have Kitchen here, which is a pretty viable site on Villa, if I do say so myself.
Well, Empire did it once. They played DreamHack Winter. They played Trophy, or not Trophy, they played Games Aviator 4 or 5 times in a row, I think.
Hey, I mean, if you're confident, you're confident, I guess.
They just really wanted to win that site. But we've got LeStream onto the inside now. They've taken good control of the study already, popped open the wall just to make sure there's not anyone still roaming on the inside of Games and Aviator Room. There is, so they're going to have to slow down and deal with this. But as we've seen in the past runs already, they're moving with pretty good pace. Only problem is they've already lost Alfama, so they now have to be very careful not to lose anyone else here. Otherwise, they're going to lose too many players for their push later on in the round.
Yeah, the setup for these roamers right now, this rotate through the vault, very smart idea by EG, and they're actually wasted half the round and they already rotated back to site. That's all you want from your roamers. So they've completed their task, they're going to rotate back to site, play their life, play their utility, try and win a couple gunfights in the process as Aces will inch his way towards the trophy door.
It should be noted as well right now that we've got a pretty similar approach coming out from LeStream. It's just coming in from a different side. They get the diffuser back for themselves there finally. They're going to be regrouping on the top and won't really have much of a choice but to push the site. Still no pressure, unfortunately, coming in from the bedroom or inside of the astronomy side of this, meaning it's going to be a bit of a one-dimensional push through these 2 doors here. But if they can spread that pressure out and isolate the players on sites, they can still have a good amount of successes, as we've just seen with the elimination of Canadian. Or Canadian, wow.
We're in Canada. Yeah.
Really messing up today with the similar sounding names.
It's all good, it's all good. Plant's starting to go down, but they're going to immediately back off of that as Rise will get taken out. Hicks with an earlier kill on the Canadian. Very smart, recognizing out that the Canadian loves to play that verticality with Pulse. As, oh my goodness, Hicks is going to find a kill through the wall. What a wall bang. Ace is going to find one as well. And this is starting to look like an offensive win all over again. But Gio trying to bring it back from the depths. And he will, ladies and gentlemen. That Alda's so dangerous in the proper hands.
A quick double kill from him at the end. And it's EG going back into control yet again. Very well done from them. They shut down this site. And now can move on. They can actually go right back to Aviator now as well, which is probably where they're going to go. Yep, right back over there. Instead of messing with one of the other 2 sites, which are obviously a little bit more difficult, and we generally see teams try to stay away from those as much as possible if they have a choice.
Yeah, honestly, the downstairs sites are just so difficult. They really are. You really only play them as a last-ditch effort because Kitchen, if handled properly by the offense, is such an easy site to win. You take the vertical angles, you take Master Bedroom. That's really it. Once you have Master and upstairs statuary control, it's over. It's done. You just play the verticality, And that's it. It's very, very simple. It's like shooting fish in a barrel.
Pretty much the case. So, thankfully, they did lose one of the rounds inside of Trophy Room, and as such, they are allowed to go right back to Aviation after they win on the second attempt for a Revive Trophy. Let's take a look and see if they're as successful here as they were on the first round. You remember back there, it was players from LeStream that tried to do a very heavy push down the 90 hallway, which is what you're looking at right now. We call it 90 because it's at a 90-degree angle there, so that makes sense.
Usually traditionally one in every single map. Yeah. And actually, G2 has a very peculiar way of calling out callouts as well. They actually have I believe there's an alpha and an omega on every single map. I can't remember it exactly, but they have one on every single map that's basically like if something is parallel to each other, this one's alpha, this one's omega, so on and so forth. But very creative are some of the callouts by these teams.
It's a very like big brain way.
Yeah. Instead of saying like the full-on like lounge counter hallway, like or sunshine bar hallway, something like that.
I've heard that in general across all games actually, a lot of Russian teams don't even use the normal names. They just come up with like 2A. Like they come up with a grid for the map basically, all on grid markers. And it's just a different way that Russia. I don't know if Empire does it, but I know other teams or other games teams do it.
Ooh, is that nade gonna make contact? No, it's not. Very close there, but Rise is gonna take quite a bit of damage from MVK. MVK is just not having it today. He's just not.
He's not taking any criticism at all. He wants to shut down all comers here, and so far he's done a fantastic job of that. Of course, now that he's back on the original site, he has also gone back to the Maestro, playing into the, I believe, pretty much the same exact role he was before. Unfortunately, peeks slightly aggressively, but Rise misses the shot. No damage done to anyone on EG there. So those are clean misses. For Rise, he'll still have to sit with about 75 HP and wait for his next opportunity to strike here. Once again, LeStream trying to commit a lot to this hallway, but so far not finding a lot of success. Thankfully, plenty of time still in this round, so they're not pressured just yet.
LeStream very concerned with cutting off these rotates of the roamers as well. About halfway through the match, and they are still trying to just isolate these roamers out. That's why you guys saw Uno downstairs on Ash trying to cut off the rotation from inside of Library. So first logic bomb will go off, but it will be immediately answered by the defense. So just one call left with aces, as this round is starting to look like it's a little bit stalled out. Last logic bomb going to come out, and they need to make something of this. This last logic bomb is typically when execute is going to go down, and they're just now using their Skyros charges. So I'm really wondering on why they use that logic bomb right there.
Well, regardless, with time getting lower, they will have to use their second one, something that has not already been used, to get into this site. Nitro Cell going to come out, won't find much impact. They're just doing a whole lot of damage to the hallway right now, but it's Rise striking first. Uno, nicely done, catches a flank coming in from Canadian to be able to knock him out. Another player from EG also going to fall. LeStream doing much, much better with their attack onto this site on the second attempt. So far, not a single one of their own players going down. You can tell as well, they're being really constant at watching for flanks and other players that might have been roaming around, and that's really sending it home for these guys as Ace moves in to clean things up with a double kill at the end. A triple kill overall in the round, shutting it down and giving LeStream another round in their favor.
Yeah, that SMG-12, a wildly beast, unless it's in the proper hands. Apparently the proper hands are his, as he is going to pick up 3. And I mean, honestly, in the offense right now, we have a complete DMR game. We have Dokkaebi, we got the cameras out on Buck. I mean, I'm going to have to ask Rise after this match why he prefers the cameras, because just Buck's other gun is so nuts. I think it's a C801, if I remember correctly. I'm not the Buck player. I'm just going to put that out on the mat right now. I'm not the Buck player. I just know it's the one that shoots more bullets than the cameras. That's what I know.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I would just call it the auto version of that gun. So
yeah, the auto version.
I wouldn't even get to the part where I'd have the C in the name. So.
Yeah, it's got a skeleton key thing.
You're already. I know a skeleton key. That part I know. But as we move forward into the next round, it's once again going to be the same policy from Evil Geniuses. Instead of moving on to the next site, they'll stick with this one and reattempt it, and that is mainly fueled by the avoidance, or wanting to avoid, I should say, the first floor sites. So here we go. Rook actually being brought back into the fold this time too. Not sure if they were using that in the last round or they still had Docker, another operator in, but regardless, he is here now to add a little bit of extra armor to all of his teammates.
Yeah, and Rook, you don't see him too often anymore, just due to the fact that Doc is such a much more prominent operator than he is. I mean, the one thing about Rook that everyone loves to criticize is that his armor does not really stop much. It gives you a higher armor rating. You get a little bit more spongy. That's about it. But headshots are still a one-shot kill. It guarantees you a down unless you're shot in your face, which this is Pro League. So you're more than likely going to be shot in your face. It's just something that happens. So typically we do see a lot more dogplay than we see Rook, but Young going to favor for the Rook this time around.
Yeah, Rook currently only has about a 5% pick rate if you look at most recent pro games. So very rarely do you see him brought into the fold. It's more of something where his utility is just very easy to throw away. With Doc, you have to kind of worry about keeping yourself alive a little bit more so you can support later on in the round if you go for those aggressive peaks, since you obviously have the ACOG, which gives you the extra range. With Rook, you just put the box down. If you die because you're not so confident with your peak, then it's not a huge deal because you don't lose the utility at least.
Yeah, Rook is just a... Rook is just an astronaut that's now a mob boss. He just tosses his duffel bag on the floor. That's what he does.
Take it.
Yeah, why are you wearing your astronaut suit, sir? Just forget about it. Come on.
So LeStream again, starting off slow, often leading up to kind of a big boom at the end of the round, as we've been seeing them make a pattern of. They've once again started it off into their favor too, with NVK being found out. He's been knocked down, not fully knocked out just yet though, so it's possible we see him get revived if one of his teammates can get to him here.
If only Young was playing Doc, this would be a very easy situation. Exact same gun once again. But again, we're gonna have a Rook out. MVK is still down, as they are going to start focusing on 90 hallway. Them being, oh my goodness.
What?
Well, you hate to see that as you choke your friend out. Well, Young actually gonna make some use of that weapon as Rise will fall, but Uno with an immediate refrag. This is not looking too good for the defense. Both ACOGs have met their fate, as well as Canadian. Canadian is just not finding any success on this roam right now.
Uno finding yet another pickup, and more specifically stopping Canadian for I think the second time in a row, specifically. Down to about a minute left, but as you can see, EG's numbers have already dwindled to a very dangerous level. They still have, I believe, one additional toxic gas grenade to throw out besides the one that was just thrown in, but that'll be the end of it. There's still 50 seconds left, so that single grenade, if it even stops anything, considering they're coming in from multiple angles, will not waste the time down enough. There's Alfama, one of the final pickups. It's all down onto Geo at this point. A nice shot onto Uno, sends him flying, but Ace is there for the immediate trade to bring LeStream back, and once again allow them to pick up another round.
And LeStream will take the lead for the first time on Villa. Pretty early on. This is going to be our last round right here of this split. Then we will switch sides where Evil Geniuses will be on offense. Villa, a pretty even match. It's actually the second most even map behind Oregon, actually. So Oregon the most even map, and then following up behind that is Villa for attacker and defender win percentage. So this right here is actually pretty even. Once people start to run away with it on their respective side is when things are going to get dangerous. It's not like Clubhouse where, you know, okay, if you're not winning 5-1 on defense, then things are terrible.
Got a 6 pick specifically from Hicks, going from the Thatcher to the Montana. We have another one as well. A clash pick. So we almost had body shield versus body shield, which is always fun, but ended up moving away from that at the last minute and instead ending up with a pulse on Canadian.
Everyone always wants it, but it is so boring. Like, even to cast, like, we're just like, and Clash is shocking Montag. Yes.
What's you ever seen that episode of SpongeBob where the two boxes are boxing?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yes, exactly. I can't breathe, dude. Oh my god. Oh.
That's what it is with Clash of Montaigne for each other.
They have the best steering match of all time.
Pushing each other around.
It's ridiculous. It's like sumo wrestling.
So,
oh man.
Continuing on as LeStream look to put an exclamation point on their attacking side here with a 4-2 half. They'll once again have to move in and take control of the statue and trophy room if they would like to have that. If not, it's going to be a tie game with EG picking up the last round and sending us into a 3-3 scoreline at halftime before we switch sides.
Which again, if you guys are, you know, respectively a LeStream fan or an Evil Geniuses fan, do not worry. This is basically how this map goes. It's very, very even. It's a very hard-fought map, which makes it so much fun to watch as well as so much fun to cast. Hicks, though, is going to be the main crux of this entire push for the offense of LeStream, as he is playing the Montang. And as you guys most prominently know, G2 loves to run Monty, specifically Pengu. And as the wise man once said famously, I am literally AFK right now. That's what Monty does. You literally just stare at people and apply pressure just like that. Young gonna toss out this nitro cell and he's like, I can't deal with this. We're just gonna push somebody up behind him and I'm gonna die. I'm gonna toss my utility and run away.
Maybe press your yellow ping every like 5 or 10 seconds.
Exactly. You just ping out. Just like, hey, there's a guy standing in front of me. I'm staring at him.
So we will see the action continue forward, of course, with the Montaigne actually working out pretty well right now to be able to move forward through Aviation and Games Room at least. It's that same push that we were seeing, I think, the last time it was played on this site. Again, not going to be seeing a whole lot of pressure moving its way over to Bedroom as a result of that, but this still worked fine the last time they attempted it, if I remember correctly. Actually, no, it got stopped by EG. So it's interesting they've gone back to this route instead of going towards the Bedroom route, which actually had success for them when they tried it on the first attempt.
Halfway through, Canadian is not dead. We might see a successful roam by the Canadian in his home country, which would be fantastic to see. He hasn't found too much success just yet, but this nitro cell might come back to haunt the offense if Hicks is taken out or if any of these prominent operators are removed. If you are a LeStream fan, the only op that you really want to die by this nitro cell is Uno. I know, I hate saying like, oh yeah, you want this person to die, but he's Ash. That's expendable. Anything else here, you're gonna have a bad time. Ooh. Speaking of bad times, Canadian's gonna have a bad time because that nitro cell is gonna make zero connection.
Way off the mark. I think you can see it there to the left of Uno. So unfortunately, just not finding the impact. Either moved out too quickly or he was far too slow. Here comes the plant attempt though. Montaigne gonna walk right in, right next to the statue corner is where he will plant it. They will be flushed out though as a result of the smoke grenade. Very well done. Necrox will even fully get the kill as a result of that. NVK finding a counter, but Ace was able to stop Canadian moving in from the basement. Still got a little bit of intel to play off of, and it's still in EG's favor. A team kill though coming in from Geo might send that the other way, in addition to Uno's pick against Geo himself. Down into a 3v2, it's now favored for LeStream. There's only 20 seconds left to be able to go for the plant. It may not end up mattering. Ace and NVK will trade blows down into a 2v1, but NVK is low himself. He's just under 50 HP. He's gonna walk around the plant. Looks like it is gonna successfully go onto the ground. He'll have to retreat due to the phone call coming out. He won't really have much of a choice. And now he'll have to go back in for the retake. Another 2v1. Not a lot of intel to work off of here either. The only advantage he has going into his favor is Uno is basically one shot. That'll be a very easy target to deal with. They've got pings though, as you can see. A red ping coming from a camera somewhere inside of that room is giving NVK the intel he needs to find at least one kill, but no, it will not happen. Aces takes him down, and it's LeStream instead. They pick up another round and end the half 4-2 in their favor.
What an absolutely electric round there by LeStream, bringing it down to the wire. And the biggest thing right there was the utility of Dokkaebi. If you guys saw that phone call coming out, disrupted all of the hearing for NVK. He was not able to get that frag on the Ash planting behind the wardrobe inside of the trophy room. If that phone call's not going off, that round may have ended in EG's favor.
Very much the case, especially without that intel. So nice play and amazing use of the Dokkaebi there at the end to basically guarantee a win, or at very minimum, find the angle for sure where the push would have come in from. So we switched sides. We didn't get the clash on EG's defense, but we are absolutely going to get it on LeStream's defense. It'll be played by Hicks, and I can pretty much already tell you where they're going to put that. More than likely, it's just going to be the Guardian of 90 if we see it played like it has been in the past.
The Guardian of 90.
It's basically, it just stands in the window and doesn't let anyone pass, basically.
Just gonna stand there and just wave at everyone. They need, if they put wave animations on like Monty and Clash, to where you can just wave at people from behind your shield, I would buy that in a heartbeat. I swear to God, I would become the biggest shield main in this game, 100%.
Just wave out. It'd be funny if it was like out of the shield and you could actually hit it as well.
Yeah, you just wave at you with a pistol hand. Oh man.
As we expect, though, LeStream are going to go to that same site that Evil Geniuses started out on. That'll be the Aviation Games Room site. We can already see Hicks going downstairs here to, I believe, maybe find a drone or something, but he goes right back up. It's not a big deal. He's going to, like I said before, more likely end up retiring towards the 90 hall. Might play towards the steps at the beginning of the round. He can also creep up towards the study, too, and delay the push on there for a little bit. He does have to be careful if he goes towards study, as it's very easy for someone to just walk right up the main stairs that are behind him and easily take him out.
I'm expecting EG to get a little bit of creativity inside of their offense right now. And the main thing is they do have to play around that clash, like you said. And Mira. Mira, actually a very prominent operator on Villa. We haven't seen her actually in any of EG setups, but there's a lot of European teams that absolutely love this operator, and for good reason. The amount of information that you can get from a Mira window almost instantaneously is unparalleled to any other operator on defense.
In certain situations, it can almost like guarantee you a kill as well if you're able to line up shots well enough. So it's a really powerful operator, as you said, mainly because of the intel, but also because of the ease of being able to line up things like even nitro cells are obviously a little bit easier if you've got the advanced intel and someone's going to be pushing you. So definitely makes the hold a lot less stressful, especially when it comes to late game.
The scary thing is when Habana, puts a couple pellets on it, you can prevent it. You're staring down the barrel.
We got to run away from this.
Not the best idea. Not the best idea.
Or a Twitch drone, that too.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my goodness. But we are going to have Canadian on the Jackal. Hopefully going to try and heat some things up. He's trying to go Super Saiyan. Super Saiyans now have blue hair, by the way, in case you guys haven't been following along. But trying to heat things up on Jackal right now as he will start things over inside of the downstairs bathroom area.
We are going to see that droning continue as they will push them forward. It's Uno, though, that strikes first again this time, knocking out the Zofia early on, and that's Geo going down for the side of Evil Geniuses. He finds his death first. Necrox, and then meanwhile trying to lurk around. Ends up good line, though, so we'll have to correct that before he goes any further.
A little bit of a dance on 90 hallway. As they are doing a very good time of time management on the defense, trying to delay as much as possible. Uno's still playing downstairs with Rise on the roam. This offense has not been able to find much success at breaking that up. And oh my goodness, Rise going to find Canadian on the rotate. What a punish right there by LeStream, as this defense has been so prominent so far. Uno going to find MVK with that nitro cell, making good on the promise that Canadian tried to provide for the defense, but did not come to fruition. It's all left up to Young, as he will just try and run away from everything that is currently happening in that building. He's like, I don't want any of it. Just leave me alone. Just don't. Save the KD, Young. Save the op. There you go, buddy. Yeah. Nothing like bagging in a bush.
He's hiding in a bush, yeah.
Yeah. Gotta test that C key real quick. It wasn't working. That's why he didn't stay in the building.
What happens if he runs past the fence?
5 seconds remaining.
Only one way to find out, right?
Is that when the simulation breaks down?
Everything just falls apart.
Yeah. Just slowly turns to like pixels as you run out that way.
Yeah, it's just NVK lane just naked in the middle of a room. Just
So LeStream will keep things hot in their favor with a pickup on to the 5th round. Just 2 more away from being able to close out the first map. If they do it without losing another round, that will be a very, very powerful first map into their favor. And at very minimum, they'll have that snowball potential going into the second map on Oregon. Just obviously going to be a very, very even map there too, where EG might have better luck. But we'll have to see, of course, if EG can bring it back here first.
Well, and here's the thing. This is EG's map.
Yep.
So, boys, what are you doing?
That's why I was talking about the potential for a snowball, because obviously, like, just in general, it sucks to lose your map pick.
Well, honestly, and look, guys, there's a bunch of people in North America that bleed blue. I get this. But if you are an EG fan, you might want them to stumble a little bit on their map choice and try and bring it back. You might want them to, enter reality, because they've had a very, very good Pro League season so far, except for that rec game. But that rec game was pretty close. So they might just need a little bit of a wake-up call going, hey, you still got to play the game.
Well, as we talked about previously, when the team picks up that first round over towards the aviation and games room, they're going to shift over to the trophy and statuary room second. If anyone else does anything besides that, it would be a massive surprise to the both of us. So here we go, playing on the standard route of sights. Evil Geniuses will once again have to go for the attack. It does look like they're going right for the bedroom spawn, so they'll head over to that side for the most part. And 2 of their players there at the beginning. I'm curious, though, if they split it, but it won't matter. Some of the Ruin spawn players end up getting picked off as Uno finds another nice opener against Canadian, and Canadian just continues to have a very, very unfortunate time here on this map, unfortunately.
Rainbow Six Siege is all about timing, and sometimes people just have your number, as Canadian will fall to an immediate spawn kill from Uno.
It's always Uno, too.
Yeah, it's just Uno's got his number right now.
I think that's the 3rd or 4th time he's killed him.
It's a rough time for Canadian right now.
It's always like a one-sided kill, too. It's always like he just spawn peeks him like that, he doesn't have a chance to respond, or completely counters a lurk like we were seeing when they were on attack.
You think this is going to continue, and after this match, they're going to dye his hair back to the original color? Like, the blue hair's just not working. No. It
cursed me. So we've got Geo specifically moving in first to try and play. Of course, see him looking up. He's got to be careful, as there are holes in the floor there, which allow for players that are up on top to easily shoot down and take him out if he's not careful about the way he crosses these sites. He actually ends up pulling out of the building entirely, where he's now going to end up grouping up with 4 of his teammates, I believe.
not much entry by the offense right now. Uno is getting Jackal track, but he's already back on site, so not too much coming from the... I'm trying to remember exactly what the utility's name is. There we are, thank you. Inox model. I almost called it Necrox because it's very close, but Inox model. As that will not do too much since Uno is back on site now.
I like to call it the foot finder.
The foot finder?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. But they are now just droning out site, trying to maintain a little bit of pressure where they can. They're really only playing windows right now. They don't have anyone inside of any part really trying to contest the actual site, as Geo will change that as soon as I say a word. Maintains pressure inside of Master as Geo, from an angle created from the other team, will find Uno. Alfama, though, going to find Young in the process, and that will be the Habana, even though the Habana pellets have already went off. Alfama with a late mirror window will go up, and now he can contest both the window and the closet.
I like this though because there's been a good variance of hallway pushes in addition to bedroom pushes onto this site, so I'm kind of a fan of leaving the second mirror until later on in the round, because now you get the intel like this, now that you know the push is coming from that way. Drops the diffuser, big key part of this. He's already knows where a second player is going to be inside of master bathroom now, so he's got more intel going over to his teammates. It's all just about finding that one last player on EG at this point, and LeStream should have a very easy time of shutting this down. There we go, Geo leaps into Astronomy. Rise is already taking care of Necrox, and he comes right back to find the second kill as well. It's another dominant round for the guys on LeStream, and I believe they're now only one more away from closing out this map.
Do you remember what I said at halftime?
What'd you say?
There's something that you don't want to happen on Villa, and that's for one team to get a good run going.
Oh, yeah.
And LeStream is currently doing that. It's 6-2 right now. EG, they're in hot water. This is their map. And again, you're supposed to win your maps. That's what's supposed to happen. EG going to take a tactical timeout, which honestly,
this is a bit late.
I think this is a bit late, yes.
I think, well, so I think that they got to halftime right, and we're still in pretty safe position, and used the bit of time on halftime there in order to take a little bit of a timeout for themselves, and just maybe, again, they already had input coming in at halftime, but now, again, they've gone 2 more rounds deep, and there's such a massive advantage going into LeStream's favor at this point. They can only afford to make one more massive mistake that would cost them a round. So, yeah, unfortunately, this is just coming in a little bit too late, in my opinion, but we'll see. We've seen some amazing comebacks before, of course.
Well, I mean, you do get a timeout per map, so I guess, you know, you either use it or you lose it. It's kind of like, you know, every other esport or sport, whatever.
We don't have rollover timeouts here.
Yeah, you don't want to go to quote unquote halftime with still timeouts in hand. Yeah. It's not, you know, not something you want to do. So at least they're using it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very true. And again, this could be a chance to turn things around. Even if they're not using this too much for tactical reasons, just a chance to kind of like relax for a second as well. This happens in a lot of other games too, where players just end up getting too heated, a little bit too tilted because they're, I mean, like specifically Canadian in this situation, right, would be the best example of this. Like, he can't do anything about it. He's just getting like found out every single time, and he's going down without being able to return much. Just gives him a second to like mentally reset and not have to focus on the game for a minute or two. And it's nice to do that sometimes for players.
Yeah, and the Canadian, usually a very eccentric player, as you guys have surely seen. He's in basically every highlight reel ever of his famous woo. So, you know. But right now, being shut down, 0-8 is Canadian.
Oh, yeah.
He's died every single round, and he has 1 assist, ladies and gents. That's not what you want to see.
Actually, a little bit worse than I thought he was doing. So, not the Canadian we like to see, unfortunately. But
this is your home country, Troy. This is where you're supposed to shine. It's like playing in home territory. Come on. Come on. Oh, man.
Very much the case. They want that crowd. They got to work for it. Unfortunately, things are not starting off too well for EG here. But remember, best of 3, so still plenty of time and a whole other map to potentially turn this back around. And it is Oregon, which is a very, very even map. As such, that could really go either way.
Yeah, they played 2 of the most even maps, which is very surprising.
Yeah. Like, it's like considering it's Villa, right? That's why I'm not too phased about LeStream kind of like dunking on this map and EG's chances going into the second map, because the second map is Oregon, and it's still a very close map there too. So I mean, there's definitely a chance still for EG to get back into this. It just doesn't look that great when you consider this game so far.
Yeah, and like the thing for me still is that they picked this map. You know what I mean? It's not like they picked Oregon and it was like, oh, we just really didn't find too much luck on Villa with our strats. No, you picked this map. And if you pick a map, that means you win that map. That's how that's supposed to work. But right now, not finding too much success. Gio will start things off over here inside of the Astronomy bathroom. Now, the one thing about Villa is that it is very, very very Roam heavy. just due to the downstairs. As you guys can see, one of the ops for the defense roaming downstairs right now, as we do have Uno down there on the Rook. But this is kind of a spread defense here by LeStream, as they are working their way over towards Library.
And they'll start to push their way into that. That would be really the only main advantage that EG is going to get going into this round that we didn't discuss. The fact that now LeStream doesn't have a choice. They're forced onto those downstairs sites, which, as we were talking about before, generally swing much more heavily into the attacker's favor compared to the two upstairs sites. So this is really the best chance EG is going to have in a while to it. Very minimum, just get around onto the board for themselves and get a little bit more momentum starting to swing into their favor. They'll start it, as expected, taking the top floor control first. It's going to be a slow process of working their way, probably room through room here on the bottom floor.
Yeah, and so far from EG, it just seems like they are having a little bit of desync inside of communication, at least from our perspective. So, again, we don't know exactly what's going on, whether it just be losing gunfights, but it seems like the gunfights have been pretty good. Canadian's just not finding too much success, and I'm hoping that's not going to be a daunting thing for him for the rest of this match.
Both the X-Cars, I believe, are going to go off without too much of a hitch, and that'll open up a pretty nice hole for Young and the rest of EG to use to get into one of the two sites. It's actually gained not a whole lot of time left, unfortunately. 40 seconds remaining, so we do need to see these guys commit soon. And meanwhile, you've got multiple members of LeStream already working their way upstairs to try and counter this, but it starts out well, at least for Geo. Manages to find a hole for himself to play off of here. None of these used the hammer, but it is going to be Canadian finally picking up impact and, most importantly, getting revenge against Uno for the first time in 5 or 6 occasions at least. Necrox also picks up another kill. We've got Young going for the plant, but he might not even need it at this point. We're down to only Rise left. He is inside of the site, picks up the first trade. He's got 4 more to go, though. It's a very long road for Rise here if he wants to bring this round back, and it's certainly looking bleak.
Bleak indeed, as Necrox will finally clean up that round. Attackers won. They finally won their first offensive round, and honestly, one thing I gotta say from that is gotcha goat. Gotcha goat. Calls a tactical timeout, resets the boys, and gets them back into the action. It's only been 1 round, but things looked a whole hell of a lot cleaner that time around.
This is the true test now, as they're gonna be going back upstairs at this point. Or no.
They're gonna be going to, it's 3 rotation parameters.
Oh, that's right, yeah. So.
Ooh, that's gotta be a 6 pick. It's got to be a 6 pick. Is Uno really going to rock the Cav?
It would be like, I mean, to be fair, we were seeing, I think it was on this map too, Space Station were using it, but yeah, Uno's not feeling it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm honestly not surprised. That's a vertical thing. You can't take vertical's thing. Come on.
Very much. So we'll see the 6 pick used on the other side of it too. A Ying will get switched over to a Twitch. And I believe that will be to try and hide the Twitch drone to try and knock out some of these mirror windows.
Kind of disappointed that we haven't had a really good Cav play yet today. I just want to beat Flynn's interrogation clip. Where he just screams interrogation at the top of his lungs.
That was hype.
Yeah, that was hype.
I had to back up a few feet when he said that. I could feel the power.
Man's got a lot of Canadian rage built up. It's just there.
But of course, even with Evil Genius picking up that round, it's still a long road to recovery. 3 more in a row, in addition to the overtime. They still have to take at least 2 out of 3 of those rounds. For LeStream, they're not going to be worried at all. Still only 1 round. They need to shut this down. And if they go to overtime, it's not a massive deal, of course, that they can still shut it down. They are 2. So a long way away from that, though. So the focus right now for LeStream is trying to shut this game down here and now.
I'm not gonna lie to you, I honestly thought there for just a second that Alfama was gonna spawn kill his Mira. This is just like, let's cool your jets just a little bit there, Alfama. Bold strategy, Cotton. Very, very bold strategy. But that's not gonna come to fruition, which I would hope it would never come to fruition, honestly. But 6-3 is the current scoreline, ladies and gentlemen. If you are an EG fan at home, you better be spamming that bleed blue in chat, because they are going to need your help to try and pull this one back. Otherwise, LeStream looks like they are at least knocking on the door of victory for this first map.
We've got Canadians going to take a peek into the window to start things off. The rest of the team is going to be starting out just outside of the art studio here. Obviously, Geo has some good vision onto the Pulse already. Manages to pick up his position. That's being played by Uno, who has been an issue for Evil Geniuses, both on the attack and the defensive side. It's constantly been a thorn in their side, specifically for Canadian more than anyone else, but it's also found decent impact against a large portion of the rest of the EG roster here. We're going to spot onto one of the mirror windows here. I'm unsure if either drone has had success on knocking them out yet, which means if that's the case, they successfully countered out the main point of bringing the Twitch to the table here. It's NVK, though, that starts this off well for the first time in a while in EG's favor, as he manages to knock out aces early on. And it's a clean kill, too. No damage returned onto him.
NVK has been very consistent actually throughout this map, even though they have been, in very daunting situations. So very dangerous situations NVK's had to try and get a few frags out of, but he's been quite consistent on his gunfights, which is a good thing. Again, that has been something that everyone's been talking about with NVK. People wanted to have dropped, more or less. But, he's really come back to being such a fantastic player, as we will see Canadian get his second frag of the day, and that will be onto Alfama the Mira.
It was Invitationals coming up, right? Even back at USN, we were still seeing him struggle a little bit. Definitely some inconsistency popping up here and there for him. But with Invitationals coming up, he knew he had to get himself ready. It definitely seems so far, judging by the early Pro League season results, as well as this play here in this game, he's certainly picked up his stuff, to be sure.
Yeah, and the main thing about him, especially, I actually had a conversation with Gotcha, well, Flynn and I did. And the main thing is that his role specifically in their current setup is that he's more of a flank watcher. So if the other people are fragging out, you're not really going to see NVK get kills. And that's the main thing. It was like, oh, he's bottom of the leaderboard. Well, he's doing his job and he's doing it well. But the other end of the team is doing their job especially well. Like Necrox picking up Uno right now. That's going to be the pulse off the board. They've gotten 3 frags and no return at all by the defense. 25 seconds left on the clock. Hicks is dead. It's all up to Rise, and Rise is dead too. Wow. Necrox going to walk into sight, assert his dominance, and that's going to be a 6-4 scoreline.
These are night and day differences between the top and bottom floor sites, and it's definitely great to see from EG as well, because if they're going to bring this confidence to the table on these bottom floor sites, if they can do anything like that on top floor sites, they might have a much better chance of being able to shut those down there. Remember, it's still 2 more rounds needed for them to close out. Even LeStream's getting a little bit worried about this too. As you can see, they've chosen to take their tactical timeout as things have gotten a little bit rough for them on those first floor sites, but finally, it's been unlocked again, so they will have the capability to go back upstairs.
Well, the one thing that I always love to talk about with these tactical timeouts is the fact that it isn't just a timeout for you. It's a timeout for the other team as well. So they had some time to discuss when EG had their timeout, and EG also has some time to discuss during LeStream's timeout. So this might continue to just snowball like you've seen it so far, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, we will see for LeStream, like we said, still only a single round away, and they're going to the Aviation Games Room site, which they were able to hold incredibly confidently the last time EG tried to push it. So they're certainly going to be feeling good to be able to go back to this site, and EG certainly has to feel a little bit worried, specifically Canadian, for reasons that we have seen in the past, but he stepped up over these last 2 rounds, finding much more consistent impact. And there it is again. Welcome back.
So no Maestro? Okay.
I guess not, yeah.
All right. I mean, if Maestro's free, you play Maestro. This is how it works. The Alda, the Evil Eyes, I mean, come on.
Just the Alda.
But, I mean, their setup on this site really doesn't need him, per se. But still, I will say the main crux of their entire defense is those mirror windows. They played them so well last time, specifically Alfama played them so well last time, it was very hard for EG to deal with them. Now, the main thing to handle that is playing the vertical angles from underneath. You want to see those soft destructors, i.e. Canadian, get control of the bottom floor, and then Ash underneath those mirrors and pop them. If they don't pop those mirrors, Alfama can just play them the entire time, and you will never be able to take over Study.
They did bring the Twitch this time around in order to try and deal with those mirror windows.
There's no mute.
In a much more direct way. Yeah, there's no mute. That means there's no mute coming in here. Yeah, well, we're not going to see a mute come into the full defense. We do, of course, see the Bandit picked up instead. But obviously, is going to add a little bit of a different way to defend things. We already saw, however, the first Twitch drone getting knocked out pretty early on in the initial droning phase, so she's already down to 1, and that means that if neither of the windows got popped in the first drone, we will have to hope that Geo has a lot of success on the second attempt now to be able to knock those out.
Geo's been pretty consistent so far in this game as well. I really feel like the only one that's just not finding their usual stride is Canadian. And that is really rough because when your entry fragger's just not feeling it, it's not going to be a good day for you. Because more or less you're going to have to use your more utility-based operators to try and get into sight, get those entry kills, and once they die, that utility's burnt. You can't use hard destruction, you can't use any of that stuff that they were carrying with them.
So here is the second Twitch drone out onto the field now for Geo to try and use and deal with some of this heavier utility that they're going to try and knock out. Jaeger, in the meanwhile, played by Rise, is also going to be lurking around this side of the map, over here towards the trophy and statuary room. So, players on EG, as they move in, will have to be careful of his presence. They get the footsteps, but it's not from him. It is going to be from a different player that's elsewhere on the map right now.
Oh man, and we were actually just having a conversation with Kickstar about this yesterday. This basement not really played too often, even at the Pro League level, and Canadian going to capitalize on that as he's going to be able to take out aces. That's going to be the Legion. No more goo mines on the field. Second Jackal track coming out under Rise as they will identify out the Jaeger. Uno going to be playing downstairs in tarps, going to try and play out his life as long as possible and going to try and get one of these flanks off that Canadian could not find.
Rock's being held up for just a moment here as he runs into a goo mine, but won't be able to get himself back on top relatively quickly. Regroup with the Young and the rest of his team here.
He thought he had the shotgun.
Oh, yeah, that's the way you want that to go. But meanwhile, Geo will pick up the second kill for his team this time around here with a frag against Alfama. Rise also trying to find something on his own regard. Remember, still lurking all around the map right here on the Jaeger. But this time, makes a lot of damage back at him. It's brought down to 50 HP, pushes out, nearly finds the kill on Canadian, brings him down to 25 HP, but Canadian still survives, and EG are continuing to run a number on LeStream right now.
It's the one thing you don't want to see. You do not want to see Canadian gain that confidence back. That is going to be the most punishing thing. And Geo, with a very heads-up play, going to rotate downstairs, cut off Uno entirely, and it's going to be all left up to Hicks, standing outside, literally staring at everyone. And it's not going to be too fun of a time for him, as he is just going to just let it happen, as he puts his shield away and just gets shot by literally everyone.
Thank you for switching.
Yeah, we appreciate you. Thank you, Hicks.
So we all know Clash is the best record with 1v5ing people. So
if he would have 180'd, put the shield away, and just flipped and got like 2 kills,
that would have been next level, to be sure.
Oh, come on.
But it doesn't work out this time, so we do see EG picking up yet another round, and again, I've been proven wrong here. This seemed like it was going to be a very straightforward affair after the players on the stream managed to push themselves up to a 6-2 scoreline, but EG have really brought it back, including these upstairs sites. That's where I thought it was going to come to a halt on this round, but it didn't end up happening. They're running it on the distance right now. It's come down to trophy and statuary to decide it as we are in the final round of regulation.
Honestly, I think that secondary timeout might have been a bad idea for LeStream. I think they should have just let the chips lay where they may and try to make minor adjustments inside of their own gameplay to play a little bit closer together. I think that timeout especially helped EG more than it helped LeStream, because that defensive set right there by them was just nowhere near what they were priorly doing.
So, as we take a look, set up once again here with Stream going back to the upstairs floors.
Oh my gosh,
shut things
Geo.
down once again. Yes?
Geo just put the entire team on his back. He's like, all right, guys, hop in.
Holy
it's okay. It's all right. We got plenty of room in here. You guys can fit.
We got someone at 8 kills at least, so it's not like that far behind.
It's not that far.
Everyone else is like 5 or less, right?
Yeah, but I mean, think about it this way. There's only 5 possible kills in a round, and you have 4.
That's very true.
So that's quite a bit of a lead. Geo definitely is showing why he's on the team, you know? Good news is he didn't eat too many donuts, so Gotcha didn't have to fill in for him.
Isn't there some evil conspiracy theory about how Gotcha has a plan to like take over or something like
that? Yeah, he's plotting.
I've already seen it. I mean, he did pretty well at USN, right, when he had the there.
Oh my gosh, Gotcha's actually so insane as a player, it's ridiculous. Especially for being a coach. He's like, yeah, I coach the team, but I can also hop in and just destroy Pro League players, which is hilarious. He actually had a really, really good showing on this match at USN, on this map at USN.
I think I remember it, yeah.
Yeah. He dropped like 14 kills.
He like put the team on his back for a little while, didn't he? It was like for like the first half of the game.
Yeah, again, Geo was gone. He just acquired Geo's backpack, put everybody inside of it.
Took him for a ride. So we are going to have Geo obviously putting the Claymore down early on to start things off. It is looking like a much slower approach to the game overall here for EG. This was the site where oftentimes I think they had the most issue with if we go back earlier in the half, and they just weren't really able to get much going for themselves, so taking a much slower route to it this time. Again, the Twitch still being a part of the equation here means they have an opportunity to move in, and this was, I think, where the mirror window found the most effect. This was on this site a few rounds back. If you remember, there was that late mirror window that got put in. Not only was he able to get the info to be able to drop the diffuser, but he was able to get a second kill and pretty much just shut down the round with that late window. So if he can avoid that or pop it earlier on, obviously will be a much better result for EG.
As you guys can see, Canadian working himself up the cellar staircase over towards kitchen. So, again, the downstairs not being played by the defense, a free entry for the Canadian in his respective country, as he will pop the top camera. It actually wasn't him, it was actually the man outside on rappel, but Canadian going to work himself up astronomy stairs, and he's going to get immediately dumpstered. Hicks, goodbye, my friend, as Canadian will show him his maker, and Canadian immediately rotates. Just going to apply the pressure, be like, hey, I was here, and disappear into the night. Very heads-up play by him as Rise Just trying to pick up the pieces and cut off any rotate that could possibly happen. Plenty of time still left for the offense to try and get some pressure onto site, but that is going to be a massive pick. Hicks, the only man that can operate those evil eyes.
We do see the ace is getting cut off by NVK, though just barely, too. At the very top exit of the study. Allows for another kill to go EG's way, as, again, they're keeping this momentum rolling into their favor. This is a nice comeback from EG after what seemed like a very one-sided start to this half.
Oh my goodness, if you guys just saw the little flicker of Ryze's screen right there, there's so many goo mines down that one side, but it's not gonna matter. 5v1, it's all left up to Uno. The man has done so much this game, but I don't believe it's gonna be enough right here, and no Canadian gonna find him again. We're going to overtime, ladies and gentlemen. They brought it all the way back. You can see the man getting hyped. He's getting me hyped. Let's go. Oh my goodness, overtime on the first match. Oh my, he's gotcha goat, man. Gotcha goat. Wow.
It's great because he's like right to our left.
Yeah, we can literally, I know you guys
hear it on the other side of a wall.
Yeah. Yeah, these Sennheiser headsets are so good at toning things out, but I know we can hear him, guys. This man is absolutely electric right now.
And he's got reason to do so considering how poorly this match started out for him and how he's brought it back. Even that nice pre-fire just reading into the last player, pushing him at the end there. Got a perfect read onto them. Now we head into overtime. It will be a slight disadvantage towards the attackers, of course, and that is going to mean that EG will have a slightly tougher time with closing this out. But if we look at the past few rounds, you might be able to disagree with that, and you'd probably be right. So, 6 pick from Zofia to Zofia, by the way.
I can tell you what the mid-game adjustment was. I can tell you.
You want
me to tell you?
Tell me.
Calls the timeout, and Gotcha just walked to the Canadian and said, "Hey, here's a monster. You're not you when you're thirsty." That's what he said. I was like, okay. Just hands him a pipeline punch, and he just slams it real quick, and now he's just pipeline punching everyone to death. That's what's happening. It happens, man. I mean, Canadian's not Canadian unless he's consumed at least 4 monsters. That's how it works.
He's a lot, though.
Yeah.
So it is still...
He's always posting that on Twitter. Like, every time he's like, oh, pre-match drink, and it's just, yeah. Anyways.
So moving into it, it's going to be back over here at Aviator Games Room once again. And we still have that same lineup from LeStream, despite the issues that has now popped up with their own defensive strategy here. Still keeping the clash in play, despite the real lack of effectiveness that I think it's had up to this point. And besides that, the rest of the lineup looks pretty much identical as well.
There's one thing that you don't want, especially with EG being on offense, it's a hyped-up Canadian. So I surely expect him to be showing a little bit more prevalence throughout the rest of this map. And into the next map, which will be Oregon once again, ladies and gentlemen. This is the first map of this set. As you guys can see at the top of your screen, blue and orange section respectively, that keeps track of our map count. So Villa being our first map. So far for the defense of LeStream, it's not found too much success. They've been quite punished so far by Evil Geniuses. I would stretch as far to say that LeStream on defense right now is not really the flip side of the coin that they wanted to be on.
Well, it's interesting, right? Because it started off really good. They won the first 2 rounds upstairs with no problems whatsoever, apparently, like seemingly anyway. But then as soon as they went to the downstairs sites, just all that vanished, and it never came back. EG really got the ball rolling, and even when we saw LeStream shift to the upper sites, where, again, I thought it was going to be an easy closeout when we got back to Aviator Games Room, it wasn't the case at all. EG just continued their run and have been absolutely shutting down rounds for the past, I think, like 5 or 6 in a row now.
This drone play being very, very prevalent right now. They know Uno's locked down inside of Gallery straight off of Library. This Canadian is starting to work his way closer and closer to trying to get this frag. They do have Ryze downstairs with him in the little living room area. And hey, I actually got that call correct. Lucky me. There we go.
Nice job.
But living room area, as Canadian is going to try and find him initially. He's waiting for the mark. He's not going to... Oh my goodness! He's going to find Ryze, but Ace is going to find Necrox. Oh my goodness, what a kill by Canadian on the Ash. He's hunting for Uno as well. Uno laying down beneath the desk, but Gio's actually going to spot him out somehow, but Hicks, no! He's going to drop the shield, and Gio will go down. A minute left. And both of these teams fighting back to see who can possibly win Villa.
Hicks even saving his teammate's life in the process there potentially too. Keeps his team at an advantageous position now. 4 versus 3. Just under a minute remaining for EG to get themselves into the site and get the diffuser onto the ground. They've made very little progress towards that yet. They've got a bit of control outside of the 90 window. And as well, in the back halls closer to the statue and trophy side of the map. But in terms of actually pushing to the site, they haven't had much luck. All right, that took a moment. But Canadian, the movement from him, just juking Uno time after time until he finally gets the angle to take him out. Nicely done, Canadian. That's his second kill in the round.
This man just put Uno on skates. That was ridiculous. But they do still have to deal with Hicks at the top of main stairs, and it's going to be a very hard-fought thing to do. They're going to have to try and force this right now. 12 seconds left, and this is where Clash is so prevalent. Able to slow down these offensive pushes. Something crazy is going to have to happen for this offense to win something. And speaking of something crazy, Alfamana is going to go massive with 2 kills as Young is going to try and pick up the pieces, but it's to no avail as the defensive round will be won by LeStream. A fancy dab at the end of that one right there.
Was even split as well. They went 2-1 with the Hibana trying to breach open into study, and the others just trying to push down 90. We obviously saw what happened to the players in 90. And unfortunately, the Hibana just, I don't even think she had enough time to let the X-Kairos charges go off, let alone push onto a site and at least press the F button to start the defusal process. But as such, it will not happen. And we're going to head inside of Aviator Games Room again, now that we see EG switching over to the defense.
That roam clear was so good. It was so good, but it just fell by the wayside there right at the end. Just did not have enough time, especially with Clash. I think that they were more or less concerned with what Clash was going to do to them. I think they were like, okay, Clash is going to get aggressive on us. They're going to have somebody rotate out and try and take gunfights with us while the electricity's going.
It's interesting that considering Clash has been there all 3 times LeStream has played on Aviator Games Room so far, it's interesting that they weren't like aware of that and were thinking that that was going to be an issue with a low time to execute. Like as they were moving up those steps, they should have immediately thought the Clash is going to be here. This isn't going to work. But it never occurred to them, never really attempted to split that or go another direction, and as such, ran into the timing issue.
So Canadian starts off the game 0-1-8. He's currently 9-2-9. You want to talk about a wake-up call? That is ridiculous.
Really bounced back in a major way after being shut down 4 or 5 rounds straight by Uno. Finally turns it around, picks up a few kills against Uno himself, and now it's just really started dominating, specifically on the attack. He's got a chance to do it again here on defense now that he's picked up the Jaeger one more time.
5 seconds to insertion.
Yeah, picked up the mantle once again. No pulse coming out, though, which, as everyone knows, is Canadian's favorite operator, arguably. He has a couple others in his arsenal that he loves to play. But the main story on this side, at least, is NVK, which is on your screen currently, ladies and gents. He's done a fantastic job of holding down 90 all the way. Only been hard punished 1 time in all of the 90 hallway play he's had so far this map. And that round was definitely influential for LeStream as well. Not round, excuse me, but...
Well, we've got LeStream's opportunity to close it down here on attack after unfortunately losing a relatively massive advantage at 6-2 that they had starting out their second half on defense. Unfortunately squandered it, allowed for Evil Geniuses to run it back, but they've had a good start on their defensive round. Now they have to follow through and be able to pick up at least this one attacking round. Of course, they still have the chance on their next defensive round as well to close it out. It does give them the pretty big advantage, but we will see if they can just close it down here outright, as they've had some good attacking rounds too.
LeStream starting everything from the north side. They had Rise go downstairs to try and find some footsteps, and he did that successfully. As you will see those pings on site. Safe rotate back. So Uno will knock out the cam, as well as an Evil Eye that was sitting inside of 90. And NVK has completely alleviated this area. He is backed off. He is back inside. They do still have a roamer downstairs. He's actually inside of Study, as you will see Jacko run by, and yet another body run towards Ren stairs. It's going to be Uno on Ashes. Uno is once again going to be taking up his old spot in which he got that kill onto Canadian from. An MVK going to find Alfama. That's going to be the Thatcher. It'll be a big pick. Not able to take up anything off of site that is electronic anymore, unless it is shot.
Slow wind up here for LeStream for sure. Much more slowly paced than we've seen in some of these previous rounds. Normally have kind of wound up the action a little bit by this point and have put some pressure onto EG, but none of that has shown up as of yet. We've already seen Alfama get knocked out, of course. The other 4 have made very little progress towards the site just yet. They're sitting around red and main stairs with not a whole lot of room to work with at this point. Really just looking for any opportunity they might be able to take to get a kill against EG, but that opportunity is not presenting itself. EG are sticking nice and safe inside of the site, using all utility they can.
So you guys are going to see through your screen. Rise rotating over to Study, trying to make this a two-prong attack instead of a one, as Hicks will start things off correct for LeStream, as Necrox will fall to the wayside. 30 seconds left, as the plant will start to go down by Hicks. Uno gonna find another one that will be Canadian. Those two have had such a hard-fought match, and Geo gonna find the planter, and NVK gonna go massive with two, and Geo once again, as they will clean everything up. We're going the distance, ladies and gentlemen. 7-7 is the scoreline between EG and LeStream.
One final round separates these two teams from the initial map victory in the series, and we once again will remind you that, folks, it's only map 1 here. We've got at least one more coming up after this, potentially 2. EG or LeStream take it. We're going to Oregon after this one to see if these guys can pull off a 2-0, or if it's map number 3 that we need to go to decide the series, our final series here on the main stream for day 1 at the Rainbow6 Invitational.
Well, what a way to start things off for LeStream and EG, both teams respectively, at least. I mean, 7-7, first map. I mean, this is going to be an absolute heater. This is very impressive, especially the comeback from EG. I was very skeptical after those first handful of rounds, after the split at least, where everything was 3-3, and then LeStream just ran away with it.
Pause was powerful, man. We saw that pause really start to change things up. The second pause seems like it pushed things even further into their favor after we saw LeStream take a pause and when they were going back to the top sites on their regulation defense rounds. Now, it's unfortunately come back to bite them, as it's really only invigorated EG even further. Players like Geo really going out for 14 kills right now. And as you were mentioning, Canadian also making a massive comeback of a personal note after starting this out 0-8 at one point.
Yeah, you never want a donut. That's just the thing. Like, I know Geo eats a lot of donuts apparently, but I mean, he doesn't have it. He's got 14 kills, so the man is going absolutely electric right now, which is fantastic. But LeStream, definitely no slouch in this one, as they've definitely shown their prowess in and of the game of Rainbow Six Siege.
Attackers must locate.
So we've got EG out on the attacking side once again. This will be the really only dangers that are forced onto the attack and not the defensive side that LeStream gets to work off of. They, of course, are still going to be pushed over to the trophy and statuary room for their second site now in overtime. The same rules that will apply, as the first site that they won has been locked, so they can't play it 2 times in a row.
And the main thing for EG on this take is going to be that roam clear. They've had so much trouble with Uno in the past. These last couple of offensive wins that they've had have all been off the back of their roam clear. As long as they can maintain that and do it appropriately like they have with their prior rounds, this should be a round win for them. That is going to be the main thing for LeStream as well. If they can make the roamers effective once again, they will be taking map 1.
Here we go. It's going to be NVK leading the charge, moving in by the guys on EG as they push into Study without too much trouble. They'll follow this up with a quick push into the Aviator room. NVK nearly losing his head as a result of that, but is able to juke out of the way. No damage being returned, however. This will stall out the push, at least temporarily for EG, as they fan out to make sure that the games room or the 90 hallway doesn't have anyone else from LeStream lurking on the inside of it.
EG going to start working their way towards 90 hallway, but Canadian off on his lonesome will be downstairs inside of a living room trying to find anybody on the roam game. And once again, you guys are going to see that roamer all the way downstairs. It's more or less the safest place to play on this map, just due to the fact that it takes a really long time to drone, and most teams just won't do it. Like, okay, we'll deal with him when he gets here. And that is definitely something that's coming up big right now. Minute and 15 seconds left on the clock. EG has not been focused on site just yet, but it does seem like that is going to be the main focal point right now.
And again, still focusing pretty heavily on the droning aspect of this. Might be clearing out a path for himself or another team member at this point. The drone might get spotted in a moment, but they look away from the stairs, so it is actually allowed to go all the way up to astronomy, meaning if it gets to the top, it's probably going to get a decent amount of intel about the setup from LeStream closer to the actual site. Problem for EG, though, is the time is running low. Yes, they have control of Aviator Games, but they have not really started their move towards the statue room or the trophy room just yet, which are the actual sites here. In fact, we still have players running around the outside of the building with just over 30 seconds left, and this could prove dangerous for EG if they don't speed things up and do it soon.
There's so much utility on the defense right now. This is definitely going to be a tall task, especially with Uno still hunting downstairs with that nitro cell in hand. Now, Alfama actually going to go down to Young as they do take control of the master area, but Canadian going to find Uno before the Nitro Cell can detonate. 15 seconds left, and EG is trying to run away with it. It's all up to Rise as they have the diffuser on Geo. He's going to start to put the diffuser down. Rise has to rotate up Astronomy, but no! Necrox going to win it for EG, and that's going to be map number 1. As you see the man going absolutely electric. Oh man, bringing it back.
So
Big hug.
I don't know if his audio is going to the stream, but
He's trying.
basically, he just screamed a bunch of stuff really loudly, and I heard one thing out of that, and that was him screaming over to LeStream saying, "I know you